Hey, Sandy, did you get the wedding invitation in the mail?
Oh, yeah, I did. I went ahead and put it in your room.
Thanks.
Whose wedding is it?
A friend from back in middle school. Who I thought I would go since you went to the trouble of sending me an invitation.
That's nice. I don't remember ever hearing about this friend before, though.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in a while, but we found each other on social media. The wedding is next month, actually. We ended up getting invited pretty late in the game.
Yeah, that's pretty short notice.
Oh, by the way, a lot of my old friends are going to be there. So we're going to go on a little trip together afterward. I'll be back in about 3 days.
Wow, sounds like you have a lot of plans made already. Kind of wish you would have let me in on this sooner.
Oh, yeah, I should have told you sooner. Sorry you had to find out like this. I was just so excited about seeing the old gang again. We got to talking, and before we knew it, we were planning the trip. I hope you don't mind.
I'm not mad or anything. I can understand why you'd be excited to see your old friends again.
But thanks for being a good sport, Sandy. But I'm really looking forward to next month.
Well, I'm gonna go do some shopping now.
Okay, be careful.
Venue already?
Yeah, I was just relaxing in the hotel. They reserved an incredible hotel for the ceremony. There's a hot spring, and my room has a great view. This place is awesome!
Sounds nice. You're at the Barrendale Hotel, right? The one that my cousin had her wedding at. With the wedding venue built into the hotel?
Well, how did you know?
It was on the invitation.
Oh, that's right. It was that was 3 years ago, right? I think, right?
Yep.
Oh, hey, my friends are calling. I've got to go.
Okay, have fun.
Talk to you later.
Hey Jonah, how's the wedding? Has the venue changed in the last 3 years at all?
Huh? I don't notice anything particularly different. That was a pretty new facility, so when I think about it, I suppose it makes sense that not much would change in 3 years.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I'm looking at something pretty shocking right now.
What?
So this wedding for your old friend. You're the groom, aren't you? You looked so happy in the chapel just now when you exchanged your vows. I haven't seen you look that happy in a while. The invitation you showed me was a decoy to keep me from being suspicious, wasn't it?
What? Of course not! Hey, what's up with you? Is something wrong? Well, I'm just at the wedding as a guest, remember? Hey, the reception is going to start soon. Gotta run!
Wow, you're really dedicated to the bit. How long do you plan on keeping it up?
Bit? What bit?
You know, your whole story about your old friend.
Huh?
Maybe you should just ask your bride about it yourself. I told Rachel everything.
You what? Sandy, why didn't you tell me? I had no idea you and Rachel were related. I was all supposed to know that. Do you have any idea the position you put me in just now?
Well, I mean we're related, but not very close. Like third or fourth cousins. I only ever spoken to her once. It was at her great-grandpa's funeral. I barely knew anyone there, so I just hung out with the other relatives my age. Like, we're not even close enough for her to invite me to her wedding.
Then how did you know?
My great-aunt was invited to the wedding. She saw you go into Rachel's room at the hotel yesterday. She sent me your picture and asked, "Hey, isn't this your husband?" When I saw that, I jumped right in the car and drove to the venue. I sat in the very back row during the wedding. I wanted to see it with my very own eyes.
Oh, boy.
She probably didn't recognize you by name because you were using your old last name on the invitation. After all, you ended up taking my last name after a wedding. Because your parents had cut you out of their lives after a big fight a few years prior. You did a good job covering your tracks. I don't think anyone else caught on to you before the wedding. You told your little sob story about your fight with your parents to get her not to invite them to the wedding. And the only other guests from your side of the family were the actors you paid to be there. Yes, I know about that too. You're my husband, Jonah. You're a married man. So, I don't want to hear you complain about the position you're in, seeing as how much you lied to Rachel.
I didn't mean to.
So, mind telling me how this all happened? Since you're still married to me, you can't get legally married to Rachel. You understand that, don't you?
I never meant for things to go this far with Rachel. I was only fooling around. But I can't hit it off with her parents while we were dating. Rachel started calling me her fiancé, and well, here we are.
You proposed?
No. I didn't know this until later. But Rachel's family has this thing about dating where you can only date someone you're intending to marry. And all of a sudden, they started planning the wedding. Booking a venue, buying a dress. So I just got caught up in it all, and, well, that all led up to yesterday's wedding.
Well, that's quite a story. But it sounds like everything is all your fault.
Hey, come on.
Don't come on me.
Give me a break. The wedding was called off, and I'm obviously going to break up with Rachel now, so problem solved, right?
Nothing is solved.
What do you mean?
You actually think there's no more problems here?
Well, yeah. Rachel and I are breaking up.
You plan an entire wedding with another woman, and you think this can be made okay by just breaking up with her?
Well, I did spend a lot of money on the wedding, sorry about that too, but hey, that just means we need to work hard together to pay it off.
I'm sorry. Do you think our marriage is going to continue as usual after this?
Well, yeah, we are still married, aren't we?
I'm divorcing you, you idiot.
Why?
What kind of psychopath would keep on living with the man who betrayed her?
Sandy, let's talk about this, okay? You're at your folks' house, right? I'm over there tomorrow.
Don't you dare. Stay away from me, you lying, cheating moron.
Sandy, I'm not a moron. Sandy, please don't divorce me. And please don't sue me either. I don't have any money.
Yeah, I bet Rachel's suing you too. Plus, you have to pay the actors from the wedding.
Exactly, I'm completely broke. Thanks for understanding, Sandy. You're a great wife.
Hate to break it to you. But yes, I'm still divorcing you. And yes, I'm still suing you. I want a lump sum payment, by the way.
What? Don't do this, Sandy. I only have to pay Rachel 100k for marriage fraud. If you have any feelings left for me at all, please at least don't sue me. Think of all the good times, okay?
I have no feelings left for you, at all. That all went out the window when I found out you were cheating on me.
Oh.
Plus, I can't get the mental image of your dopey smile when you said "I do" the other day out of my head. But let's be real here. Do you honestly not understand the gravity of what you've done?
I don't have a dopey smile.
Yes, Jonah. Yes, you do. Very dopey. This is getting exhausting. Can you manage to muster up a few brain cells and think for yourself? I don't want to have to explain this all for you.
Sandy?
Would you like me to tell you more about how dopey you looked at the wedding?
You've said enough already.
I took a hilarious picture. I might post it on social media.
Sandy, I'm your husband.
Not for long, you're not.
Sandy!
By the way, your parents messaged me the other day.
What did they say?
Rachel contacted them to see if there was anything else you were lying to her about. They had no idea you were married to me, or that you were marrying Rachel. They were pretty shocked.
Well, I never told them, so...
Also, if you cooperate with the divorce and move back in with them, they can get you a job and support you financially for a while.
Really?
Generous, aren't they? You'd better be good to them, got it?
Yeah, I got it. Thanks, Sandy.
Don't mention it.
Sandy, I'm being kidnapped! I just got thrown into a black battle van!
Huh?
I went to my parents' house yesterday. I thought I was going to be able to live with them. They said they were going to get me a job with company housing, but they didn't say it would be this company.
What company is it?
They've got a real bad reputation around here. I don't know if I'm ever going to make it out of here alive.
Don't you think you're being a bit overly dramatic?
No!
They said it was a company that has a very thorough training program for new employees that are, well, like you. I think it sounds perfect for you. Consider it an opportunity to turn your life around.
How can you be so optimistic about this?
Anyway, why are you contacting me?
Well,
You paid the lawsuit judgment. Our divorce is finalized, as far as I can see. I don't have any reason to speak to you ever again.
but Sandoy!
Goodbye, Jonah.
Sandoy, wait!
Enjoy your car ride. When my husband said he got cut off from his family, it seems like he meant that he couldn't handle their strict parenting style and ran away from home. I don't really know enough to say who was in the wrong, but anyway, Jonah started his work and re-education program at his new company. He's having a bit of difficult time adjusting to his new environment. I know because the other day, he called me from a public phone saying, "Please help me." What a loser. I just said, "You're pathetic," and hung up the phone. He tried calling Rachel too, but she gave him the exact same response. After a few days of crying himself to sleep every night, Jonah seems like he might just be on the path to becoming a semi-decent human being.
Hey, Mary. Hope you had a good day. It's been a while, hasn't it? Hey, Jenny. Long time. Wow, I didn't expect to hear from you. Can't remember the last time we talked. How long has it been? Not sure. I guess it was right before my son James quit the soccer team, so... I think maybe 6 months ago? How about David? Is he still playing soccer? Yes, he's still at it. Since James quit, he hasn't been himself. Suppose he misses him. Oh yeah, really? What's up? Can I help you with something? Well, it's nothing special. You remember that James took that entrance exam for that private school? Well, today was when the results came back. Oh yeah, that's right. So, how was it? Of course, he got in, no problem. And at the Middleton Academy, one of the hardest schools to get into. Wow, that's really something. Middleton Academy. That's one of the most prestigious schools in the state. Congratulations. Yes, well, James is my son. I expected that much from him. I mean, the amount of money we spent on prep schools and the hours he studied, I knew he would be accepted. I even had him take 5 preparatory classes taught by some renowned educators. I had him study 5 or 6 hours every day. If he didn't get in, I was prepared to kick him out of the house. Oh, really? Must have been hard for him. Hard? You have no idea. We were paying over $1,000 a month on his prep classes. When he was studying at home, I stayed and watched over him. Made sure he didn't slack off. If you want your kids to grow up to be somebody, a mother has to work even harder. I see. I suppose so. I expect it was pretty hard on James. Yes, well, I guess all this studying and getting into the right school is really not of interest to you. So, David is going to the local public school, right? Well, actually, he applied to one of the private schools. And he did well. Got accepted. Oh, really? I figured he was the type to just coast through high school. Anyway, probably just lucky. Congratulations! Huh? What do you mean by that? Just what I said. It was pure luck. I've seen David around. He was playing soccer constantly when he should have been studying, like my James. But he manages to get in? Pure luck. Or was it some low-level school that he got into? Perhaps. Are you being serious? Where is this conversation going anyways? I mean, you didn't even send your kid to prep school. Just allowed him to kick his stupid ball around all day. It just all seems inconceivable. My James quit the soccer club and focused his efforts on getting into a good school. And he did. His motivation and brains are nothing compared to your precious David. Sorry to let you down, but David was studying all that time. Of course, he didn't go to a prep school, but he was focused on his studies. As a result, he passed the entrance exam with flying colors. No use posturing, the result is obvious. David loves playing outside. A kid like that would never sit quietly at home and study. If he had gone to prep school as James had, well, then I may believe you. Oh, I'm sorry. I suppose you couldn't afford it. How rude of me. It's just so easy for us. I tend to forget other people's financial woes. Excuse me, but what is it you're trying to say? Why are you giving me all this BS? I'm just stating facts. Just because David is some local soccer hero, everybody heaping him with praise for his goals. What's all that good for? Once he gets a taste of the real world, all the soccer skills in the world won't help him one bit. In this world, academic background is everything. Is this about David being elected as captain of the soccer team? As a matter of fact, I do remember you rooting for him to become team captain. Is that it? You have a grudge. That's the reason for all this BS? I don't know. You think? Well, anyway, his studies are way more important than kicking a ball around. By entering this prestigious school, he's on the winner's track to success. It was all worth the money and effort. As for David, he's probably on the loser's track to a mediocre career. You had to be a cheapskate and not send him to a proper prep school. This was a turning point in his life, and you ignored that. Being poor can really be frustrating. About David. What about him? He was accepted at the Sturgis Academy. Huh? Sturgis Academy is that famous? I don't know about it being famous, but I suppose so. I'm sure it's the one you're thinking of. Any mother worth her salt knows that place. It's the top academy in the country with a 6% acceptance rate. That's Harvard or Yale level. He's guaranteed to get into those universities too. Also qualifies for a scholarship. He's got the pick of top colleges. Yeah, that's what he tells me. It's that Sturgis Academy that David got accepted to. You can't be serious. You're making it all up. But David, he was never studying. And right before the exam season, he wasn't even going to prep school. He was just kicking that ball around the field all day. For God's sake! How can a kid like that get into the top private school in the country? I can understand you being envious that James got into Middleton Academy, but to make up some extravagant lie, it's despicable, even for you. It's not a lie. Yes, as you say, he was playing soccer every day and continued managing the team. But he put aside time for his studies as well. He felt that sitting at the desk all day would be too stressful, and he needed to manage his time properly. A little exercise allowed him to clear his head, and in the long run, was way better for his studies. When he wasn't at soccer practice, he was at home or at school studying. But he wasn't even going to prep school. Sturgis Academy isn't the type of school you can get into with just a few hours of study a day. You're right. That's why he got a stack of questionnaires and work assignments from his teacher. Anything he had trouble with, he just asked the teacher at school. And also, my eldest son is currently a freshman at Yale University, so he helped out. Wasn't really necessary to send him to a prep school. Huh? Your eldest son is at Yale? Yes. Oh, I thought you knew. That's the first I heard. How could your son go to Sturgis Academy and your other son at Yale? My son's teacher said he barely squeezed his way into Middleton Academy.
It all depends on the child. He's got motivation or he doesn't.
No motivation. Is that what you're saying? So you're saying that James didn't have enough motivation?
No, I'm not saying that. You know that David loves soccer. Sturgis Academy practically guarantees that he gets into one of the top universities, which means he can focus on playing soccer and not worry about college. And he's also interested in studying overseas, probably in Europe. The soccer scene, you know. There are famous Sturgis Academy affiliated universities over there, with some famous soccer alumni. Eventually, he says he wants to join one of the teams over there. So, I suppose that's where his real motivation comes from.
Soccer is his motivation?
Motivation is very important for studying, no matter what it is. I'm so sorry. By the looks of it, James does not look as if he was studying much, and always just kicking that stupid ball around. But then he gets into one of the top schools in the country. But as you say, results are what matters, right?
What? You arrogant little... Even if he got into Sturgis Academy, if he doesn't try, well, what good is it? Yeah, I can see it now. He'll drop out in no time.
Well, studying overseas means he has to keep his grades up. I'm sure he'll manage. After all, he has the motivation. Besides all that, is James going to be okay? Middleton is also a top school, and if he can't keep up with those classes, he may end up dropping out. David told me that he saw James dozing off in class, and even went to the school infirmary a couple times because he wasn't feeling well. He tells me James just barely gets by in most of his classes. I'm worried if he can keep up at Middleton Academy.
I don't need you lecturing me about my son. If he can't keep up, well, I'm just going to have to make him study harder, that's all. I'll just add more prep classes, and may even hire a home tutor. We'll just have to spend more money, add more classes, and make him study every day, including weekends.
Do you really think that's all good for James?
What?
Well, James confided in me. He told me never to tell you. Truth be told, after quitting the soccer team, he came over to our place. He broke down crying. He didn't want to quit soccer.
Huh?
He said if he had to quit soccer, he didn't want to take that exam. But he was scared to tell you. He said he'd be kicked out of the house. Tears were streaming down his cheeks. I felt so sorry for him.
James? My James said that?
David was pretty upset about it too. He tried talking him out of quitting. David was insistent. He knew James is an outstanding soccer player and hated losing him. He said it was such a waste to throw his talents away. James said he wanted to continue playing soccer.
I had no idea.
Hey, Jenny, do you really think it's okay to force your son to study and take that exam? Making him work so hard, wrecking him, both mentally and physically. Is he really happy? I mean, that's what we're talking about here, right? The happiness of your child? Aren't you just using your son to satisfy your ego? Your pride?
That was not my intention.
The reason he was dozing off in class and falling ill. It's all because you increased his after-school classes. In order to keep up with the workload at Middleton, you said he would hire a tutor. The stress alone. I'm worried about his health. As a mother, is that what you want for your son?
Of course not. Nothing is more precious to me than James.
That's right. Your own child is the most important. Isn't that right? So, listen to what he has to say. What he wants in life. I just hope you'll be able to understand and grant his wishes. Of course, education and academic background are very important. But after all, it's his life. Let him live it as he pleases.
You're right. I'm sorry for making such false accusations. Thank you.
I see what you're saying. I feel so ashamed. I'll have a talk with him later. Please do. It will be good for both of you. I pray that things will work out. After they talked, it was decided to reject the application to Middleton Academy. He decided to go to a local school, a good school nonetheless. In fact, the school was more in line with James's academic level. What's more, he was able to get onto the soccer team. Both David and I are happy that things turned out for James, and that his mother came to her senses.